AITA for walking out after catching her lying on a live stream? My name is Garrett. I am 34 years old. I work as an industrial refrigeration technician for a seafood processing plant in the port area of San Diego, near the coast. I have been in the trade for 14 years. I started as a helper at 20 when my dad got me a job with a buddy of his who had a contract with the plant. The work is not glamorous. It smells like salt and chemicals. It leaves my hands rough and my back aching, but it pays well. Around $6,500 a month when the overtime rolls in, which it almost always does. Jenna and I met at a food truck in the Gaslamp Quarter 6 years ago. She was in line ahead of me, ordering a taco with everything, and when she turned around to grab some napkins, she spilled her drink all over me. She apologized so much that we ended up sharing a table. She is an accountant. She worked, at a tax firm in the Kearny Mesa area that was about 15 minutes away from our apartment in the North Park neighborhood. We got married after dating for 2 years in a small civil ceremony at a garden venue in Carlsbad with about 30 guests. A DJ who played a mix of music and a cake made by my mother-in-law, Mrs. Gloria. Everything was fine. Everything was normal. It was what I thought was my life. The problem started in July, 3 months before that night by the closet. Jenna got a new client at the firm, a guy named Preston Caldwell, the owner of a chain of beauty salons who was having problems with the IRS. According to her, the case was complex and required constant meetings. Those meetings started eating up the afternoons, then the nights, and then the weekends. I am not a jealous guy, or so I told myself. The first time she mentioned Preston, I felt nothing. The second time, nothing either. The third time, I noticed she had bought a new perfume that smelled like vanilla and something else I could not identify. I later found out it cost $120 at Nordstrom. I had given her the one she used to wear, a department store brand that she said she loved. Babe, what about that perfume? Paige from the office gave it to me for my birthday. Her birthday had been in March. We were in August. I did not say anything. I stored that away in a mental drawer I did not know I had. That drawer was going to fill up very quickly. In September, Jenna let me know that the firm was sending her to a tax conference in Las Vegas. 3 days, hotel included, travel expenses covered. It sounded legitimate. I knew her boss, Sharon, and she confirmed there was indeed a conference when I saw her at the Ralph's supermarket on the freeway buying a cake. Oh yes, Garrett, it is the Western Tax Forum. Jenna is going to represent the firm. She is very well prepared. Okay, so everything was true, right? On the Thursday of the conference, Jenna left early. I dropped her off at the company shuttle pickup point. She gave me a hurried kiss. The kind you give someone who no longer excites you, but who you still need. I understood that later. I will send you photos, love. And yes, she sent photos. The first was from the registration, a name badge, tables with white tablecloths, and banners for the tax forum. Totally legitimate. The second was of the hotel, a king-size bed, a nice view of the city, and a towel folded into the shape of a swan. Everything seemed to fit. I went to work as usual, a 6 to 3 shift at the plant. Then I went home, heated up some soup that was in the fridge, put on a baseball game on the TV, and got ready to do nothing for the first time in weeks. At 9 in the evening, my buddy Nate sent me a message. Man, was not Jenna at a conference? Yeah, well look at Courtney's live stream. Courtney was Jenna's coworker at the firm, a girl who loved broadcasting everything on social media. She had a small following and acted like an influencer. I opened the app. Courtney's live stream was titled Girls' Night in Las Vegas, and she was broadcasting from a casino on the Strip. Courtney was moving the phone around carelessly. And there, between a roulette table and a group of women in evening attire, was Jenna, my Jenna, wearing a black dress that I had never seen before. One with an open back that did not exist in her closet as far as I knew. She was holding a glass of something sparkling with bubbles. Next to her, with his hand on her waist, was a guy in a gray suit, styled hair, and a wide smile. When the camera panned past, he whispered something in her ear. She laughed, throwing her head back, laughing like someone who did not have a single worry in the world. I watched that clip 4 times. Then I took a screenshot. Then I screen recorded it. Then I sat on the living room couch with the phone on my knees and did not move for 22 minutes. I know this because the game went from the 6th inning to the 9th. I did not hear a single play. What I felt was not fury. It was like when you open an industrial refrigerator and the cold air hits your face all at once. A dry shock that paralyzes you before you can react. Then came something worse than anger, a heavy, thick calm. I texted Jenna, casual, as if nothing was wrong. How is the conference going, love? She took 40 minutes to answer. Good, my life. Boring, honestly. I am going to sleep now. I am exhausted. Courtney's live stream was still active. At that moment, Jenna was dancing with the guy in the gray suit. The irony would have made me laugh at any other time. Rest, love. I love you. Me too. And I went to the closet for the suitcase. The first thing I did was call my sister Tara. She lives in the City Heights neighborhood on the other side of the city. She has an extra room that she uses as storage, but it has a single bed among boxes of clothes she sells at the flea market. Tara, I need to stay with you for a few days. What did she do? She did not even ask what happened. She asked what she did, as if she already knew. It turns out half the world suspected what I refused to see. I will tell you later. The room is ready. It has always been ready. That hurt me more than the video. I started packing. Only my things. Methodically. The work shirts, the pants, the denim jacket that belonged to my dad, my personal toolbox, wrenches, a multimeter that cost several $100s and was more mine than anything else in that apartment. The documents, birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, passport, and the deed to the land I have in the East County, which I inherited from my grandpa Ray. I did not touch anything of hers, not her things, not the furniture we bought together, not even the big TV that I paid for completely. But that TV sat in the living room, which always felt more hers than mine. What I did do was something a coworker who went through a tough divorce the previous year had taught me. I photographed everything. Every drawer, every corner, every single thing I was leaving behind, and everything I was taking. I sent the photos to my email and backed them up on a USB drive that I kept in the toolbox. By 1 a.m, I had 3 suitcases at the door. The apartment was on a lease in both our names. But I had already decided I was not going to fight over that. Let her keep the space. I was taking my dignity. Before leaving, I sat at the dining table, that wooden table we bought at a local market. And I hand-wrote a note on a piece of paper from the notepad where Jenna wrote down the monthly expenses. Jenna, I saw Courtney's live stream. The conference looks fun, especially the casino part with your friend in the gray suit. I am not going to wait for you to invent a version. My things are no longer here. The keys are in the kitchen drawer. I paid my half of the month. The rest is yours. Garrett. I put the paper on the table with the keys on top and closed the door. I drove to my sister's house with the windows down. The San Diego air at 2 a.m. smelled like the ocean, the city, and the food spots that never close. I parked outside. Tara opened the door for me in her robe, looked at me, did not say anything, and just opened the door wider. I slept for 6 hours straight. I did not dream about anything. But I woke up with my hand reaching toward the other side of the bed, looking for her. The body has its own memory, and it does not care what the head has already decided. I lay in that creaky mattress for a while, looking at a stain on the ceiling, listening to the neighbor's dogs bark at the early morning garbage trucks passing through the City Heights neighborhood. And I thought about an April night, months before all this. We had gone to dinner at a seafood spot on Harbor Drive. Fresh seafood appetizers on crispy tortillas and drinks. Jenna was happy, or so it seemed. She told me about a case she had won at the firm. A client who avoided a $10,000 penalty from the IRS. She was proud, and I was proud of her. I held her hand across the table, and she squeezed my fingers and said, I feel safe with you, Garrett. Just like that. Now, lying in a room that smelled like old clothes, I wondered if that night had also been a lie. That doubt is the worst part. Worse than the evidence. Worse than the screenshots. Because it contaminates the good memories and makes them suspicious. I got up, washed my face with cold water in Tara's tiny bathroom sink, and looked at myself in the cracked mirror. My eyes were dry. I had not cried once. I do not know if that made me strong or just numb. When I walked out to the dining room, I had 47 missed calls. The first ones were from early Friday morning. Jenna had returned from the conference early. Someone probably warned her that Courtney's live stream existed. The messages escalated. Garrett, what is this? Did you take your things? Are you serious? I need you to answer me. It was an outing after the conference. It does not mean anything. Courtney had no right to record. That last one seemed very revealing. She did not say nothing happened. She said Courtney had no right to expose her. The difference was massive. At 9 in the morning, the voice messages started. The first one was controlled, almost professional. Garrett, I think you are reacting impulsively. We need to talk like adults. I am asking you to call me. The second one, an hour later, already showed cracks. I do not understand why you are doing this. It was a group dinner, and Courtney took it out of context. The third one at noon was full of emotion. Garrett, please, this cannot end like this. I did not answer any of them. I went to work. Refrigeration units do not fix themselves just because your personal life fell apart. Having my hands busy with compressors and thermostats was the most therapeutic thing I did that week. On Saturday, Jenna showed up at the plant. I was in the maintenance area in my overalls and gloves, checking a refrigerant leak, when my coworker Randy peeked through the door. Dude, there is a lady out there who says she is your wife. I walked out wiping my hands with a rag. Jenna was in the parking lot leaning against her car, wearing sunglasses, even though the sky was cloudy. She was dressed in the green blouse I gave her for her last birthday. Garrett, this is ridiculous. What are you doing? I came because you will not answer me. We need to talk. There is nothing to talk about. You are going to throw away 5 years over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. I saw you dancing with a guy in a casino while you told me you were asleep. Which part is the misunderstanding? She took off her sunglasses. Her eyes were swollen. For a second I felt pity for her. Then I remembered the guy's hand on her waist, and the pity disappeared. Preston is a client. He invited all of us out after the conference. Nothing happened. Preston, the beauty salon guy. Yes, the same client who has you working until 10 at night since July. The one who pays for the perfume you claim Paige gave you. She stayed quiet for 3 seconds. 3 seconds that said everything. It was not like that, Jenna. Leave. I do not want to do this here. Where do you want to do it then? Nowhere. It is already done. My boss, Carl, walked out at that moment. A 60-year-old man who has the patience of a saint, but the gaze of someone who has seen it all. Ma'am, this is a restricted area. I am going to have to ask you to leave. I just want to talk to my husband. And he already told you no. Excuse me. Jenna left. I watched her car peel out of the parking lot way too fast, with screeching tires that made the security guards look up. That night the heavy artillery arrived. Mrs. Gloria, my mother-in-law, called me at 8 in the evening. I was at Tara's house eating some homemade dishes she had made. Garrett, my son, what is going on? Mrs. Gloria, with all due respect, that is between Jenna and me. She is my daughter. I am worried. I was worried too until I saw her in a casino with another man at 1 in the morning. Silence. What do you mean with another man? Ask her. I already said what I had to say. But Garrett, she says it was a work meeting. In a casino, with sparkling drinks, dancing, in a dress I had never seen her wear. At 1 in the morning, while sending me a message telling me she was asleep. Yes, it sounds very much like work. Mrs. Gloria is a straightforward lady. I heard her take a deep breath. I am going to talk to her. Go ahead. That was the last civilized contact. On Monday, the digital war began. Jenna posted generic quotes on social media about people who leave without putting up a fight and hearts that give up at the first hurdle. She tagged me. I removed the tag. She posted another one about the difference between a man who fights and one who runs away. She tagged me again. I blocked her. Then the emissaries arrived. First Courtney, the same Courtney from the live stream, with a call that started with Garrett. I did not want to cause problems and ended with, but honestly, you did overreact. We all went to the casino that night and nothing bad happened. Then Paige from the firm with a text message that said Jenna is devastated. The Preston thing was innocent. Do not be unfair. Then an unknown number that turned out to be Preston Caldwell himself. The message read, Dear Garrett, I believe there is a misunderstanding that I can clear up. The relationship with your wife is strictly professional. I apologize if my presence that night caused a bad impression. I replied, If it was strictly professional, why was your hand on her waist? I have the screenshot. Do you want me to send it to the firm's group chat? He did not answer. 2 days later, I found out through Tara, who heard it from a neighbor, who heard it from Courtney's mom. San Diego is like that. Everything gets known. Sharon, the boss of the firm, had called Jenna into her office. Turns out Sharon did not know Preston had invited her team to the casino. The conference expenses did not include sparkling drinks or gambling. And Preston had a history of close relationships with female employees at the firms that handled his accounts. Jenna was not fired. But they took her off Preston's case and gave her the account for a hardware store in El Cajon, a noticeable professional downgrade. On Wednesday of the following week, I found something that changed everything. I was checking the bank statement for the shared credit card we had, a Chase card we used for household expenses. I had not canceled it yet. My mistake. There were the charges. A resort hotel in Palm Springs. 3 nights in August. I was working those 3 nights. Jenna told me she was going to visit a cousin in Escondido. A dinner at a Japanese restaurant in the Gaslamp. $80 in July. Jenna told me she stayed at the firm doing month-end close that night. 6 charges in total that did not add up. 6 lies with exact dates and amounts. I sent her a single message. I saw the credit card charges. The Palm Springs resort in August. The Japanese restaurant in July. 6 charges. Do you need me to keep going, or do you get it now? The response was immediate. It was a 7-minute audio where she went through the 5 stages of grief in record time. Denial. Those charges are for work. Anger. You are obsessed with looking for proof. Bargaining. I can explain every single one. Depression, between sobs. I did not want this to happen. And finally something that was not acceptance, but surrender. What do you want me to do? Nothing. I do not want you to do anything anymore. I canceled the card, opened my own account, and transferred what belonged to me from our joint savings. Exactly half. Not $1 more, not $1 less. $2,700. I documented it with before and after screenshots. 2 weeks passed in relative calm. Jenna stopped calling. The emissaries stopped writing. I started to settle into Tara's house. I bought a new mattress because the single one I had was old. And at 34 years old, I deserved a mattress that did not creak every time I moved. Nate, my buddy, invited me to watch a Padres game at Petco Park. While we drank some beers in the stands, he told me something that stuck with me. Man, I was going to tell you about the Preston guys since August. I saw them leaving a restaurant in the Gaslamp together on a Friday night, but I did not know how to tell you. I feel bad for not speaking up. Do not worry about it, Nate. I do worry, because if someone had told me, I would have wanted to know sooner. He was right, but I did not hold a grudge against him. How do you tell your buddy that his wife is involved in an inappropriate situation with someone else? There is no manual for that. The calm broke on a Friday night, 3 weeks after I left. Jenna sent a message to all our mutual contacts. A long, painful text full of half-truths. She said that I had abandoned her without explanation, that I was emotionally unavailable, that I never gave her her proper place. She said my family always treated her poorly, which was a lie because my mom, who lives in Oceanside, adored her and sent her food every Christmas. Tara saw the message first. Have you seen what your wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, posted? We already started the process. Well, make it official, brother, because otherwise this is not going to stop. She was right. I looked for a lawyer, an attorney in the Kearney Mesa area named Alan Brooks, recommended by a coworker. Alan had his office on a 2nd floor above a store with a ceiling fan and a framed diploma on the wall. He charged $500 as a down payment. He told me that with the evidence I had, the divorce was going to be straightforward. Can she fight for anything? Do you have shared assets? The apartment is rented. I left the furniture to her. The card is already canceled. I have a piece of land in the East County that is an inheritance from my grandpa from prior to the marriage. She does not have an angle. Kids then. No, this is going to be quick. The divorce notification reached Jenna on a Tuesday at 10 in the morning. I found out because at 10:15 she was already calling me. A divorce, just like that without talking? We talked enough, Jenna. We did not talk about anything. You left, and you did not let me explain. The credit card charges explained everything. Courtney's live stream explained everything. The $120 perfume explained everything. Preston did not mean anything. He meant enough to lie to me for 6 months. She hung up. A week later, Mrs. Gloria called me for the 2nd time. This time her voice was different. She was tired. Garrett, I owe you an apology. For what, Mrs. Gloria? I found things on Jenna's phone. She left it unlocked at my house. Messages with that man since May, photos, plans that she told me were for work. I am sorry, Mrs. Gloria. Do not be sorry. I should have seen the signs. When you told me about the casino, I confronted her and she swore to me that nothing had happened. She lied to her own mother's face. Her voice broke. I felt bad for her. Mrs. Gloria was not to blame for anything. She is going to have to stay with me for a while. She cannot pay for the apartment alone. She already lost the Preston account, and with that her salary got cut. I am sorry to hear that. I am too, but you did the right thing, my son. Sometimes loving someone is not enough if that someone does not love you back. The divorce was finalized a month later. No fights, no legal drama. Jenna did not respond to the lawyer's calls for the first 2 weeks. But when Alan sent her a formal notice, she showed up with her own lawyer. A recently graduated attorney who looked at the case as if she did not know where to start. The signing took place at the family court downtown. Jenna arrived wearing sunglasses. I arrived in my denim jacket, my dad's jacket. We did not say anything to each other. We signed. We left through different doors. Out on the street, the San Diego sun was shining bright for it to be November. I bought a hibiscus drink from a stand outside the courthouse. It cost $2. I drank it standing on the sidewalk watching the cars go by and thought it was the most refreshing thing I had ever tasted in my life. We signed 3 months ago. Today I am writing this from a small studio apartment in the Mira Mesa neighborhood. A place that smells like fresh paint because the owner just remodeled it. I pay $1,800 a month, which is half of what the other one cost. I have my new mattress, my toolbox under the bed, and my coffee maker that I bought on sale for $40 and which makes the best coffee I have had in years. Nate and I go to the stadium every time the Padres play at home. Tara brings me food on Sundays, even though I tell her it is not necessary. My mom comes from Oceanside once a month and leaves my fridge full of meals that last me the whole week. Life is smaller now, but it is mine. I know little about Jenna. Mrs. Gloria sent me a message a few weeks ago. She says that Jenna started therapy, that she left the firm and is looking for a job at a bigger company that no longer deals with Preston, that she is working on herself, as they say now. Preston, by the way, got involved with another accountant from a different firm. Jenna found out through social media and, according to Courtney, because Courtney always knows everything, she did not take it well. Sometimes I think about the suitcase, the one I took out of the closet that night. I still have it. It is in the laundry room of my new apartment, empty, with the zipper half open. I have not put it away. I do not know why. Maybe because it reminds me that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not to stay and fight. It is to grab your things and walk out the door before you get used to the lie. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.